it and turn it off too.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to Wolf Unleashed, the podcast where marketing meets real life. I'm Amy.
And I'm Kat, and we're the founders of Wolf Social. And we're here to talk all things marketing, business, and balancing the chaos of work and mom life.
From the latest marketing trends to our personal stories of running an agency, we've got it all covered.
So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into the wild world of marketing.
Right.
So today with us, we have Ida Mack. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Yes.
We love having new guests. So I am so excited that you got to sit here with us today. I want you to introduce yourself because I feel like it always sounds better coming from the person versus us trying to do it for you. So by all means, tell us about yourself.
So that question always kind of throws me off because you want to go in one direction and another direction. If there were one thing I would want people to know about me is that regardless to what I'm doing, I want to make an impact and I want to do good. So when people say, tell me about yourself, the first thing I want to say is, I want to help you. And that's who I am.
I love
So
that.
I started, oh, thank you. But it's coming genuinely from my heart. I in terms of who I am, I started a company called Luminescence Consulting Group because, as we all know, in this environment, layoffs are ridiculous. They're getting to the point that you just there are no words for what's happening right now. And I actually was laid off in February, and I was also laid off in 2017. So I thought I could either allow this to impact me the way it did in 2017, or I can do what I've always wanted to do, which is take the control and the power and empower myself and start my
Yeah.
own company. So when you say, tell me about yourself, I'm resilient. And this is what I give to my clients. I'm resilient. I'm passionate. I don't do things I'm not passionate about. And that's the beauty of working for yourself. You don't have to do things you don't want to do.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty independent. So I hope that answered the question in a way that you wanted. And then that's my professional life. Personally, I rescue animals. I love animals. I can't even explain the level of my dogs and cats, what they mean to me, and just helping find animals good homes. And I'm pretty creative. I do a lot of carpentry, woodwork. I just
Oh,
actually
wow.
finished a cabinet, and I'm really proud of it because I just let my experience, just like, the creativity flow.
Yeah.
And I came up with this funky, eclectic, mid-century retro cabinet that's all gold, which I would never put in my own house. But
I'm a gold girly myself. I love gold.
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. I'm just kind of mute tones, calm, and
Yeah.
but it's beautiful. At least I think it is. And some of my family members, I don't know what credibility that gives me. They say it's beautiful too, and it actually will probably go in one of their homes. But
Oh,
that's who I
good.
am
Yeah.
overall. Yeah.
That's awesome. Amy likes to rescue random animals.
Yes. I almost rescued a random animal last night. I pulled up, I'd gone to pick up my Target order, and there was a baby possum in the carport. I was like, this is it. This is
Again?
happening. Andy was like, no, just bring your groceries in.
So I
She's
finally met someone like that.
yeah.
I've seen, I stick to dogs and cats.
Yeah.
I
No,
stick to
Amy's
dogs.
all about possums and squirrels. I've
Yeah.
done a bird, like all kinds of stuff that we're just like any animal. We're like, "Well, okay, let's get it. Let's make
Yeah.
it better."
Just a constant Disney movie happening of,
Yes.
oh, it's a woodland creature. Come on, welcome to the fold.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh, but that's awesome it's not awesome that you were laid off, but I feel like, because I've been laid off before. I
Yeah.
was laid off 2 different times in my career. And it's one of those where it kind of knocks the wind out of your sails and you're going, oh, what did I do? And then you go, it
Yes.
wasn't me at all. And especially now, like as business owners, you go, it was nothing personal at any
Yeah.
point. You just go, business is struggle. And this is just it happens and it sucks. But I feel like looking back on them, you go, I'm kind of glad it happened because I would have stayed there and been happy doing what I was doing forever. Like I never would have tried to change because I
Yeah.
was content. And you go, if I'd remained content, I wouldn't be where I am now
Yeah.
because like the
Yeah.
redirection was important. And so I think that's also
Yeah.
something that really helps with other, like with what you're doing of helping other business owners. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if all you've ever experienced is easy stuff, then you can't coach people through the hard stuff. So I think
Yeah.
it's super important.
And I think it's
I
great when
definitely
people, use an unfortunate situation like being laid off as an opportunity and an inflection point in their own lives. And I think that's, powerful in and of itself. And I think it's great. But I also can understand like, if you're laid off and it was like if that was your whole personality, like it
mm,
would completely take the wind out of your sails, like you said. And that, I mean, that can be tough to come back from. So kudos to you, Ida, for, using it as an inflection point and, creating something for yourself and being able to, work for yourself because we know that we love it. So, I mean, it's a great
Yeah.
feeling to have.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it takes guts. It's definitely not one of those of like, oh, this happened. I'm just going to spin up and do a business. It's one of those where you go,
Yeah.
no, it takes a lot of courage
Oh,
and
Yeah.
it is stressful and it is scary. So to do it and go out there, it's really cool.
Yeah.
We're
yeah,
proud
I
of you.
definitely agree. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And for me it's some of the things that you guys just touched on. It's that jolt because I know when I was first laid off, I was connected to the company. It was a startup and we were building it and it was this amazing experience. And to walk in and just not, because layoffs were a foreign concept to me at that point. I didn't do, never
Yeah.
even, not that I hadn't heard of them. I just didn't think in my industry, I was working in social services at the time, that it would happen because there's always this constant need. So it's
Hmm.
not something that's ever really, was ever really on my radar. It took me almost 7 years to get over that. And so
Oh,
I
wow.
have a lot of empathy for people when we're on LinkedIn and we're on these other platforms and you see people saying, I can't find a job, I don't know what to do. And they don't have that mindset of, let me stand on my own. Let me, embrace the skills that I have and do something with it. It's almost like if we have the ones who bounce back and then it's all the ones that don't, that for me, I get so concerned for it because you just don't know what to do. But the relief of all of this is I'm starting to see a lot of conversation about it, people
Hmm.
providing
Yeah.
support, for teaching you how to start a business, teaching you how to find alternatives. I've tried to do some of that as well. I put together a point, like a 6 point list of these are the things to do when to cope with a layoff, things that I look back on in hindsight. And my first recommendation was don't go look for a full-time job. If you are financially in a point where it has knocked you the air out of you, you can look for a full-time job, but do not count on that 100%. Go find a contract position and work those contract positions until you find the job that you want, because you just don't
Yeah.
know when you're going to get a job, because the number of people they're laying off and the jobs that they have now, there's a skill gap. They're laying people off, at least in my opinion, a lot of times because they're looking towards the future. Companies are looking towards the future and what needs to happen. And the employees that they have now don't have the skills for those positions, so they're out searching for employees that have the positions to drive the company forward. So
Right.
contract positions, build your skills. You don't have to go and pay all that money. Build your skills on any type of certification is industry forward, and jump back in there if you want to, or start a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing too of, not telling people to jump into a full time because it kind of sets you up for failure. If
Mhm.
you're devastated, you're going, I just need something to feel, I
Yeah,
just need anything. So then you settle for something that you're not passionate about. You don't really care. It just, someone said, yes, I took it. So then you're not going to be happy in that role. So it's one of those of breathe, figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's a lot easier said than done too. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. I mean, because you do have to be, financially stable enough to kind of play
right.
the field a little bit. I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is. So I mean, I feel like if you have the ability to do that, that absolutely for long-term happiness and, being balanced mentally and emotionally and all that, that's definitely the route to go. But so what do you suggest if somebody gets laid off, they're not financially stable enough? What do you suggest to them then? I mean, like, I'll give you some background. My husband works in staffing and is a recruiter as well. So obviously he is always trying to, he calls, what did he used to call himself, Amy? The matchmaker of
The matchmaker.
yeah, the matchmaker. So he'd always try to matchmake these, people in their positions.
That is what, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, he's constantly trying to find people to hire, and so I feel like while yes, there's a bunch of layoffs, there's also a lot of opportunity. So, would you
Mhm.
suggest for someone who maybe has just gotten laid off, would you suggest for them to take a temporary position while they try to figure out what they want to do
Yeah.
for long term? Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what I was saying earlier is that I call them contract positions, but yeah, temporary positions. It's
Okay.
because it gives you an opportunity. And I can tell you what I did in 2017. Um, it was pretty messed up. I will own this. They laid me off like 2 or 3 days before my birthday.
Oh no.
2 or 3 days
Oh,
before my birthday. I
I'd
was
be so
driving.
petty. I take my birthday so
Oh,
seriously. So I'd be like, you ruined this whole month for me.
Yeah.
oh, and they did. Boy, they did. I didn't celebrate. I was and I can laugh at it now, but then it was genuinely like, it's like when your husband equated it to matchmaking. It's
Mhm.
you're breaking up with someone and you were the one that was
Yeah.
blindsided. You didn't know all the side conversations were being had about you. You didn't know the betrayal. And you walk in and it's like, haha, not only do I not want to have anything to do with you, I'm cutting your livelihood off too. So there's this panic. So, what I would suggest for people, one is even if how scary it is, and I know how scary it is, I've been in those shoes, take you at least a few days to just stop, cry, grieve, do what you have to
Yeah.
do. And I don't want to say a mental reset because that takes a time just to get a hold of your mental state so you
Yeah.
can think a little logically and clearly. And I am big on solution mindsets. It's like there's always a solution. You don't have to have the answer right away, but you could be working towards the solution. And to me, temporary positions are that solution because I went from, think of this is my career. I went from social services to healthcare to finance to entertainment. I jumped around the different opportunities because I needed to know what industry I wanted to be in. So there were some really good positives to this layoff, but at the same time, I developed such a distrust of companies. I swore to never work for one again. So I spent probably about I think it was 7 years, because it's so long ago, thank goodness I can't even remember the time frame, working temporary positions. I started a small consulting company where I would do consulting on the side, but I absolutely refused to go back into another company. And I had a temporary position. Actually, I think, yeah, it was a temporary position. And COVID hit. And I love the company. I love the people I work with. So I said, I'll join this company. Why not? Well, there's
Yeah.
a huge difference between coming and being a consultant and an employee. Those are two things. The
Yeah.
mindset when you walk in
Right.
which I struggled with, but made a lot of change, made a lot of difference. And 4 years later, goodbye.
Wow.
Okay, well, there will not be another goodbye unless it's on my terms. So I'm going to do what I know best. I'm going to take my power and the control I have over me and my livelihood and my ability to be creative and have fun, and I'm going to put that into my own company. Now, if I want to go work a temporary position or go work a consulting position, whatever it is I want to do, now I have that ability to do it, but I'm doing it all on my terms. And
Right.
that's what was important for me. So to answer your question, I know that was kind of long-winded, but
No,
to
I love
answer
it.
your
Yeah.
question,
I was gonna say.
um, I would, okay, this is so mushy. I would first tell the person, I don't care if you're a solitary person, introvert, because I like to be by myself most of the time. I love my creative juices flowing. When I have people around me, it's a distraction. If I want to do
Yes.
something, I want to go out and do it. I would tell them, get you a hug.
Hey,
It is
that's
important.
fair.
Get you
Yeah.
a good hug. And then just it's not going to break you. I raised my nieces, and one of the things I taught them is when you're in a situation, ask yourself, 20 years from now, will this matter? And
I tell
that
my
gives
kids
you a
that
lot.
all the time. I'm like, in the grand scheme of life, this does not matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I said
matter.
that last night. Murray was like, it is a huge, it's gonna matter. And I was like, I
Yeah, it doesn't
promise.
matter. Promise.
So,
And that's what's key. It's putting it in perspective, and you running out to get another job. And I have colleagues who's done that, who were laid off with me, and they bounce right back into another job. Not knocking them. Some of them, their mindset was, well, if I got laid off, I'll go find another one. If I got laid off, I'll go find another one. But it's that population that, because it's a lot of them. And I should
Yeah.
say us, that I take it personally because I wake up every morning and devote 40 hours, 80 hours. I was commuting 2.5 hours a week. 2.5 hours, what was it? 2.5 hours up, 2 hours back. So it was almost five, 4.5, 5 hours, 3 days a week to go sit in an
oh,
office where there
Oof.
was no one there, but it was a requirement because everyone else refused to do it. And I'm the compliant one. And I'm showing up to work every looking back, I should have kept
Golly.
my time. I
That's a
could have been
lot.
further. But it's all a life lesson. It really is. It's one of those things where we have to, and it's something I'm taking on. We look at this from the perspective of the employee, and I'm so grateful people are doing that.
Hmm.
I'm looking at this from the perspective of the companies. At what point do we disrupt industries and stop this? At what point do we say layoffs? And not just because layoffs, sometimes you need to have a layoff. Mass layoffs are not okay. At what point do we change the language? Because it's easy to say, oh, we laid off 10% of our workforce. It's very hard to say we laid off 14,000 people across the country to make adjustments. Those are two different, they evoke two different types of emotions and send two different types of messaging. So if you look at the messaging, it's almost a way of saying we don't want to be held accountable for costing these people their livelihood. So I'm on my end. That's what I'm working on. And my perspective is to I can't tackle major corporations. But what I can do through my book and my branding through my book,
yeah.
Escape the Hamster Wheel, is teach leaders how to empower themselves so that they are comfortable being accountable, and in that context of that, then they are responsible, they make more responsible decisions, because these decisions that we make are what lead to layoffs. It's we have this big problem, the industry is shifted, we don't know what to do. Well, we can wipe all these people out and start over here. How about we start to take some accountability and own this and treat people as human beings, and as leaders, when we see a decision being made and we're not comfortable with it, being empowered to speak up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
And
a
I also
heavy.
think that that also forces some, accountability that's, let's be more proactive. Because a lot of times, I mean, even recently, there have been companies that have been in the news of, here, we've laid off thousands of people. But you go,
Mhm.
some of these people are getting on social media and going, they only hired me a month ago. I was part of a
Yes.
team of hundreds of people that were brought on 2 months ago. And now they've laid off all of us plus 800 more. And you go, why are we like, be proactive in what you're doing of, do we need to hire this many people? Like, what's the
Yes.
problem we're fixing? Are they good for this role? Like, do things so that you can kind of mitigate the risk of having to do major layoffs. And I understand, like, I mean, even sometimes with our stuff, we're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot happening. We have a lot to do. Maybe we need more hands. And you go, we don't. We need to figure out what we need and like dig in ourselves type things. And it's
Yeah.
because of that. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we go, we got in a hurry and we brought you on, but we don't really need you. I mean, I can't imagine that feeling as a, you know, even a corporate executive where you go, I've had to make that choice for thousands of people. I just
Yeah.
who wants to do that? So you go, I think
Yeah.
those kind of conversations need to happen of not how do we change the language. I mean, yes, it's important to change the language around layoffs, but also how do we prevent it from happening to begin with?
And
So,
what you just said is literally what my book is about. It's
yeah.
acknowledging that this is a huge issue. It's huge. And I'm taking the perspective of, some people say, well, hold the corporations responsible. But my thing is go a level deeper. Hold the leaders responsible, accountable. So, like the example you just gave, and I've seen it all over LinkedIn too. I've sat in meetings and I'm a lower ranking employee. And in one situation, it just, you kind of go, okay, this isn't right. We shouldn't be doing this, but I'm not an executive director. And they made a decision to build this huge manufacturing warehouse. And it was like, oh, we're going
Yeah.
to do this, we're going to do that. I mean, none of the steps that you would really take to get to the point to make a decision to actually purchase a warehouse and then purchase all the equipment and put all the staff in there. Guess what? I think it's like 6, 8 months later, they had to lay off all those staff plus others. Now, the water cooler talk after the meeting, why did that we shouldn't have done that? I don't think that, why as a leader did you not say anything when you were in the meeting? I say something and they're looking at me like, "Who are you?" I'm just there to help with some of the processes. But at what point do leaders feel empowered enough? Because it's pressure. It is pressure. You're sitting there, you have your colleagues around you. Someone probably has more political power than the other. You want to say something, but you know if you say something, it's going to affect you either financially because you may get boxed out or cause something else not to have. There are all these dynamics that go into it. Um, but I 100% agree with you guys, and that's what one of my main missions is in my key phrase now is I want to empower leaders to protect employees because I
Hmm.
believe the more leaders we empower, the more likely we can protect employees and we don't have people getting hired and laid off a month later or even I
Right.
was reading on LinkedIn someone just got hired and then their offer was rescinded before their start date. So
Oh,
they quit
wow.
their
And
Jeez.
yeah, that would be awful.
so yeah.
I think
But
that's an important thing too of empowering leaders to speak up because I don't know about you, Kat. I've been in several meetings where it's one of those of you've got your one person that's the talking head and everybody just kind of it's an echo chamber where you can agree. That's fine. We would love for everybody to speak up and agree. Don't disagree. And you go,
Yeah.
I've never been that kind of person. I'm very much a, hang on, let me speak up. But it's scary. And I feel like a lot of leaders don't do that. And they will. It becomes water cooler talk of, oh, someone should have stopped them. And you go, why weren't you qualified to do that? You 100% were. You were in the room. Speak up. Use your voice to prevent a lot of problems. So
Yeah.
many
And
problems.
I'm also thinking like, in a leadership position, let's take a corporate world, right? In a leadership position, you're so far up that if there were going to be layoffs, you're not even going to know the people that are going to be laid off, right? So I keep thinking
Mhm.
like as you're talking, I keep thinking of the show Undercover Boss of
Yes.
like where the owner or the CEO, they go and do all these different jobs and then afterwards they're like, "Oh my gosh, these people are amazing," and that kind of thing. So in your book, do you talk about, the relationships that leaders can have with, different levels of employment to make sure that they're
Yes.
all in tune with everyone?
Yes. And what I say is that we should focus in on core values
Hmm.
because I think it's not necessarily building the individual relationships because realistically is, depending on what level of the organization and you're not going to be able to go down to each level. But if we focus in on core values and we ensure at each level we are clear one on our personal core values and that they are aligned or you develop a symbiotic relationship with the core values that the company is going into, then you can build better relationships with each other. You can make better decisions. You have a lot more respect because you're all working towards a common goal.
Yeah.
What I think ends up happening is we have some leaders, and I've witnessed this, so I'm trying to say this in the most, I don't want to say politically correct way because I think at this point political correctness has went out the window with me.
Right, right.
I think
No.
we have so many leaders who want to climb the ladder. They know if they do challenge the bar, if they do certain things, they're going to get the wind knocked out of them. I have been one of those people. I can tell you some stories where it's like, whoa, I was just trying to help. I don't understand why if I said this is a problem. I literally had a supervisor tell me I cannot say that. I went in and I was honest. I said, look, here's all the data. Here's everything. And these are the problems. These are the areas we need to focus on, but it had the people that we needed to work with. You can't do that. you mean I can't do that? We're going to cost people their jobs if we don't. You can't do that. And I was stopped.
Oh, wow.
So I think that I jumped off on a tangent a bit, but in terms of relationships, for me, I think it starts with core values. I think at some point, core values build culture. Core values build how we guide and behave towards each other, whether we respect each other or not. Core values
Yeah.
are essential to functioning, and we treat them as kind of like, I don't want to say just marketing, but they're almost marketing and branding. Oh, this is what we are.
I mean, yeah,
No.
they really kind of are those sometimes, you know? It just
Yeah.
depends on how
Yeah.
you use it. Um,
Yes.
so that kind of brings, obviously we're a marketing anti-agency. Uh, I say
The
that because,
anti
yeah,
agency. Yes.
we don't like to call ourselves an agency because we take a more personal approach than that. But with you starting your own business and whatnot, we have to bring our podcast back to marketing, even though because we could get off on a major tangent. How do you market your business?
So it's an interesting thing. I am like you guys, where you said agency. I refuse to call myself an agency. I call myself a group because I think group kind of embodies a little bit more of the personal aspect of it. So when I'm marketing, I try to do things that's not so in your face.
Hmm.
Like my t-shirts, because some people ask me, oh, what does your t-shirt say? I do those types of things. I'm sticking to LinkedIn right now. And it's not necessarily marketing my company. What I've learned is that I'm going to build a brand and market myself and build those good relationships with people and
Yeah.
have conversations like this, because there is no better way to get the message out about your product and the services you offer than for someone to get to know you, and then comes the actual product, because there has to, at the end of the day, every not I want to say everyone, but people create great things. So
Yeah.
it's, do we connect personally? So I market my business primarily by, I'm getting into this of introducing myself, and you guys,
Yeah.
like I told you, I'm starting to do podcasts and just start to build relationships with people, because I believe that's how I'll be able to pull in the quality of clients that I want.
Hmm.
Because part of my mission is I will not take and work with anyone whose core values do not align with my own, because I
Yeah.
believe that is important. So if you are not on board with empowering your staff or empowering yourself, we're not going to work well together, because what I do is not that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Uh, I'm finding I'm creative, so I like doing videos. I know that sounds crazy.
No, I mean, videos are great right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really, popping off. So, and what you're saying about your LinkedIn, just from our experience and our professional opinion, what you're doing is absolutely correct. I mean, obviously we manage social media for a lot of our clients, and they have a business page, and there's a lot of times where will encourage them, hey, you need to find a face, a person
Yeah.
that can be a thought leader in this industry, whatever, and let's help them optimize their LinkedIn because people are more inclined to message that person than they are a business page. So what you're
Yes.
doing is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you, because I started a business page and it's sitting there, and I thought, if I'm going to do this, this is about me. It's not necessary. It's not saying dismissing my business. Like you'll hear the name of my company, but I'm working with Ida. I'm not working with
Yeah.
Luminescence Consulting Group,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, that business is just a vehicle for me to build a relationship with you and to create whatever amazing things we're going to collaborate and create together. So
Yeah.
that's what I and thank you for saying that, because you
Yeah.
sit in and you go, I wonder, is my marketing, I'm working really hard on it. I've been getting some feedback, and some people have reached out to work with me, and it's pretty awesome. But I want this to be a journey that it's authentic. I'm having fun. I'm
Hmm.
working with people with common values and goals. I don't want to get into that rat race of true consulting, which I've been in, where it's about sales and let me get this client and let's upsell them on this and upsell them on that. I don't want to do any of those things. So the best way,
Right.
I think, is just to say, hi, I'm Ida. I love process improvement. I love solving problems. I love making a difference. Do you need any help? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's
And
that's
LinkedIn's the
genuinely
best
what it
place
is.
for that. You know,
Yeah.
if you stick your hand out and go, "Here, let me help you with something," then your people will always stick theirs back out and say,
Yeah.
"It's I need the help." Um, and so the way, like Kat said, the way you're doing it is perfect. And it's one of those too of if your business page is sitting there, don't feel defeated. I feel like so many people are like, "LinkedIn's a business platform. My business page should be popping off. I've started a business. I'm doing the things. Why is it not blowing up?" And you go, people don't care about business pages or brands. They want to get to know you because,
Yeah.
like you said, you're the person they're working with. They don't, the brand is its own separate thing. They're going to be working one on one with you. So they want to get to know you. So I think you're doing it exactly as you should be.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of times, we'll obviously we'll help with both, right? So we have the business page and then we have
oh,
the
yeah.
thought leader of that company and work in tandem with them. And I mean, they really complement each other well because you have, the business shows core values, it shows what we offer, all of that. But then you have the person that's the personality that is, the relationship aspect of it, of like you're getting to know this person, which happens to work for this company. So you can use them in tandem. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, absolutely you can. But the person I feel like is the one that, as far as, if you have obviously have a business, you need clients, that kind of stuff, or you want clients, then that personality, the person, yourself, that's going to be the best bet for right now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that this is helpful because when you're doing something and you're like, I wonder am I doing this right?
Yeah.
And I'm
You
one
are.
of those gung ho people. I want to just with the anxiety and everything, I jump in head first. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look and see what everyone else is doing. Like, people on I've tried YouTube, LinkedIn, I've tried Instagram, and I just kind of fell into LinkedIn. Like it's just a comfortable space, and it's really where I
Yeah.
feel that it's just the best space for me right now. And I just was like, I'll figure this out.
Have
Just
you tried
Yeah.
TikTok?
no, I haven't tried TikTok. Should I try
So
TikTok?
yeah, I mean, if you are into the video thing and you can just, I mean, you're sitting here talking to us just off the cuff, basically, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, because, I'd be like, what are we going to ask about and talk about? So no, you're sitting here just talking to us. I mean, you can very much record sound bites and that kind of stuff and, throw it on a TikTok. And I mean, who knows? I mean,
I'm gonna
you
give
Yeah.
see
it a
stuff, you see podcasts on TikTok now, you see TED Talks, you see all the stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
okay.
It's becoming a really powerful tool. Now, it does take a lot of time. It's very much a
Yeah.
large commitment, but it can
Uh-huh.
be really impactful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially with, like you said, so many people are going through layoffs and things. So many people are in those spaces trying
Mhm.
to find people and go, you said exactly how I feel right now. So
Mm,
Yeah,
I want to latch
exactly.
on.
yes.
Because something else that I feel like, talking about empowering leaders and your messaging and things like that. I feel like a lot of places also kind of will go, here, you're laid off. People struggle through that. But no one really knows how to like pull out what can I bring to the table? Like what does
Mm,
set me apart that
Mhm.
I can be my silver lining through this. And so,
yeah.
if they find you, connect with you, that's the kind of empowerment they could get from just a simple
You guys
conversation.
are getting like little chills because it's what I've been struggling with is the business side of it and just getting my business out there in the message because I do want to focus on leaders, but at the same time I want to help employees, and I know this is so anti-business. You have one target market, you do. I don't want to do that. And not saying I want to work
No.
with every single person on earth, but I know that I'm not big on separating things, and realistically leaders and employees, if you think about it, you have the employees who were laid off, emotional impact of the leaders who had to do the layoffs because they weren't empowered. You have all these dynamics going on, and I've wanted to talk about it, but I've never really. It's not that I don't think LinkedIn is appropriate for it. It's just not the right format, I guess, because it's more post and it's not like I could do a quick video and just
Yeah.
talk, and then oh, I'm
And
so excited.
you can very much have two separate audiences. So for example, I mentioned my husband is in staffing and a recruiter. we have talked about how you're marketing to clients because you want to be able to, get those orders for temporary things, but then you also are trying to target those who need a temporary job. So they're polar opposites, right?
Yeah.
So you very much can have two different audiences and, have an approach for each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'd be really cool to just the way that you do things and like your values and your mission. I mean, if you think about it, you could also you're talking to employees that could be the future leaders.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're talking to them as I hear I've helped you do this. They grow into a space that they're comfortable and they take those lessons with them so that now they are the leaders that are making the changes. Um,
So you're implementing it at a younger stage, for lack of a better
yeah,
term. It's like a
Yeah.
child. I mean, I hate to do it that way or say it that way, but you want to implement great core values and morals into your children because when they become adults, you want them to be great functioning adults that have these same core values that you've taught them. It's
right,
a same life cycle for, maybe an entry employee versus them becoming a leader later on in life. So,
right.
I mean, you absolutely should be reaching out to both.
You guys have given me a lot to think about.
That's what we're here for.
My brain is going. I really like. Oh my gosh, you're giving me some perspective because what you've just said is what I've been struggling with. I
Mhm.
know where I need to grow to go to grow my business. I know that. I hope I'm clear on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What I'm not clear on is that part that keeps tugging at me. What you've just touched on, it's the other side of it because I don't believe in cutting things up into pieces and treating a piece. I think we need to look at the whole situation and
Yeah.
then from that whole situation address multiple areas because for the most part things like this they're not simple, they're extremely complex. So you can't take a unilateral approach to it. You have to
No.
take a multifaceted approach to it. So
I mean, it's yeah, it's
thank you.
almost like I said, a life cycle. It's a circular approach because while you and I think if you started to reach out to both audiences and really kind of defined, here's how I can help employees and then here's how I can help leaders, both of those things are going to feed off of each other, in my
Mhm.
opinion. So,
right.
because what you're telling an employee, the way that they can tell you things, you can tell them things, you're coaching them through certain issues and whatnot, that can transpose into, hey, I've come up across this with an employee to a leader, maybe not in the same company, but it just all transposes. It's an entire life cycle.
Right. We are struggling with this. How do we fix our culture within our business? I mean, yeah, you're touching on all of it. How do
Yeah.
you be a better employee? And then how do you lead better? So,
Thank
oh,
you. You made my day. You guys, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and I see how people are putting out all this content and they're making all this change, and I just think of the amount of work that goes into it is just it's if you haven't done it, when I first learned this is how I learned. I love like creating videos.
Hmm.
I'm a like I said I'm an introvert. I like to come in, do what I have to do, give everybody support, bring everybody else together because I always assume everyone else is an extrovert. And then I just quietly back out the room like, thank you guys. I'm so happy that you connected. So
yeah.
just to see this is thank you. Thank you so much.
Of
This has
course.
been
Yeah. I mean, this is
Yeah.
the power of LinkedIn and all of that, right? So we
yes.
connected, we can, talk through this. I think, again, social media is a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
And I think if you use it properly and if you have found a passion for videos, then go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
100% full send on that. I
Who
mean,
was it? April Palmer that we talked to a couple of weeks ago
yeah.
that she said, the way you do your content should be the same way, you should approach it like it's a workout. If you hate running, don't go buy running shoes because that's not going to be the workout you do. You're going to
No.
hate it. If you want to swim, go to the pool. That's the workout you're going to do. So if you like videos, do that. Don't get distracted with LinkedIn being a lot of text heavy stuff. If you like videos, do it. You're going to find your people because they're going to go, "Oh, you look so relaxed and like this is
Yeah.
natural for you. You're doing it." So
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, because I've been writing, I do text and it's fine, but I'm not, you just kind of go, okay, this isn't my thing. I'm not really good at this. I mean, I do it, but I look at some of it and I just think, I didn't have fun doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to write down what I wanted to say instead of just sitting in front of the camera and saying, "Hey, everybody, this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing today. This is the thought I had." And I look at the other personalities on LinkedIn and I'm always like, "Oh, I wish I could do that." And I don't know why my brain, like there's this disconnect that you
There's
can't do that.
also,
No.
what is that tool? Is it Otter AI that is a recording
Yes.
platform? Yeah. So there's this tool, it's a website or whatever called Otter AI. And you can just sit and do a video, talk to it, right? And it creates
Uh-huh.
a transcript. So if you don't want to do the video, but you like how you sound when you're talking, you can talk to the Otter AI. It'll do like a transcript. You can take that, turn it into a paragraph that's in your voice.
Yeah.
Oh my
So you aren't
goodness.
having to write the full thing. You're just going in and touching up a
Yeah.
little bit here and there. So,
Well, I will be visiting Otter AI.
Yeah.
yeah. That was another good April Palmer thing where I was like,
Yeah.
look at you go, April.
I know. April's awesome. If you're not connected with April Palmer on LinkedIn, you totally should.
I
Yeah.
definitely will, and I'll check out her video on your platform. I didn't see her video, but I just skimmed through a few of them and just
Yeah.
watched them. So I definitely will. I'm going to have to check that out. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is awesome. This is so awesome. You guys
I'm
made
so
my
glad we
day.
got to talk to
It
you
was
today.
good.
You
We
made
love
my
it. We love it.
Oh, hang on.
I
Can you
I
freeze a
Um,
I
little bit?
mhm.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you sit in. I This is my second podcast, and I've been kind of like I'm excited to do this, and I didn't really know what to expect. I knew it was on marketing, but I didn't know I was going to get great advice. So
Oh,
That's what we're here for. We want to
yeah.
hear about you
awesome,
and
awesome.
then we want to help you. So it's kind of the same thing that you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It is
So,
awesome.
all right. What else? Any other questions, Kat? You got
Yeah,
any
I
other?
don't have any other questions. Ida, do you have any questions for us?
Uh, Let me see. I would like to ask. So, in terms of just marketing,
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. It's what are what are some of the recommendations or pitfalls you would say, like, you see this happening often, like stay away from that, because there are certain things I do and I get, when I say no traction or no response, and I think it's pretty good. There's not like, where is that, like, how do you gauge, or is it just kind of you throw it out there and pray it sticks and you just keep doing
Well,
things?
so it's a good mix of everything.
Yeah.
Because even we will test things, and sometimes we're like,
Yeah.
wow, that did not go the way we thought
Yeah.
it would. That was
Exactly.
disappointing. Um, with LinkedIn, though, I will say the best tip for getting traction on LinkedIn is to put out as much as you want to get back.
Yeah.
So before you ever make a post, spend 10 minutes, go through, comment on some other stuff.
Hmm.
Find some people that you go, oh, I would love for you to interact with my things. I would love for us to have these conversations in the comments type things.
Yeah.
Engage with their stuff, because that way, whenever you do engage with them, then whenever you make your post, it's more likely to show up in their feed.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Engagement is key on
yeah,
LinkedIn. Absolutely. I mean, comment on lots of things. I mean, and genuine comments, not just like congrats, like, say something that actually, like, I feel like you're so heartfelt anyway that it's not going to be hard for you, but
yeah,
comment genuinely and comment on, all kinds of stuff. And I mean, engagement's just king on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. So I had no idea about that, because I
Yeah.
do
yeah,
comment, but I don't comment as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll hit a
Yeah.
like
right,
and then I'll send people personal messages. Like, I really liked your post and conversations with them in their personal messages, but I don't
yeah,
really
Yeah.
comment on the post. So I
Yeah.
should
Comment on the
comment.
post. And
Okay. Okay.
honestly, I mean, it's LinkedIn is also not necessarily one of those things where you have to have, 10 posts a week. I mean,
no,
it would almost be better for you to, have, we'll just throw a number, 3 posts a week, but you're
Mhm.
commenting every single day.
right. And so also
Really
with
wins.
with LinkedIn too, they view comments as if they're pieces of content. So if you're
Yes.
going through and you're making genuine, thoughtful comments, a couple of sentences, and you can go through and look on your own feed, you'll see where you'll get notifications of so and so's commented on this post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will show that. So if you're doing a lot of that, you'll just pop up inevitably in people's feeds because they're going, wow, she's super active. She's all over the place.
Yeah.
And so it helps a lot. So even if you have those days where you're like, I have a message, but I don't have time to make a post. I don't have it in me. Take 5 minutes, just engage a little bit, and it has a significant impact.
You guys have just changed my approach on LinkedIn.
That's what we're here
Good.
for.
I call them content creation Mondays. And that's the day where I feel like I'm
Yeah.
kicking my day off and I spend the day, literally the whole day,
Mhm.
creating content. And I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that because I'll spend more time on my content creation day Mondays reviewing and commenting on posts. I do it throughout the week, but like
Mhm.
Yeah.
intentionally going through posts and just reading them and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like the best
Also,
There you
time ever. Thank you.
go.
yeah. Also, to add to your content creation Mondays, though, since you do like video content, you can use Zoom or whatever video format you want. Then you can go to opus.ai, drop that video into that, and it will chop it for you
Yeah.
into 15, 30, 60-second videos so that you aren't having to spend as much time figuring out what do I chop it into. It does it for you. So then you
Yeah.
say you make one 30-minute video, drop it in there, you're going to get 15 to 20 short videos out of it. Just spread those around, cutting your time in half. Look at this. Look how much time you've got to help people
No,
now.
I've mastered the cut. I really have. So, you have your video, and I'm going through watching it and pause, and I'm like, okay, that's where I want to stop it. And then I'm doing little cuts and chopping it up.
Yeah.
And there's
I
AI.
that
Oh my
Yeah, that
God.
stuff drives me nuts because it takes me forever because it never
Yeah.
fails.
Yes.
There'll be like a second too soon or a second too late. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take the headache out of this. Progress over perfection. Here
Yes.
we go.
Thank you. And what you just said is what it is. Is like I'm enlarging the little bar so I can see exactly and pausing at the same.
Yep.
My gosh, you guys, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Content creation Mondays too. It won't just be creating content anymore because if there's an AI that does that, I spend a lot of time doing that. Going
Yeah.
through and
Yeah.
trying to edit
Yeah.
and cut. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are
AI, if you can use it properly, it is a major time saver.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
We love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Which I'm interested in, and I've been reaching out to people on LinkedIn to learn more about it. And I
Oh
did not
yeah.
make a connection between AI and content creation or
Mhm.
even just AI marketing. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was more of I know that this is going to be something that's going to it's like revolutionizing every industry. I need to understand it, so that I can one use it in some kind of way and possibly work in it at some point. Something I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what. So to what you just told me.
There you
Oh my
go.
God. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you guys so much.
Of
Yeah.
course,
No,
of
thank you.
course. We really appreciate you coming on, Ida, and honored to sit here and talk to you. And we're always just a LinkedIn message away or an email
Yeah.
away or anything if you ever need anything from us. Honestly,
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much. This is
yeah, of
Always here
wonderful.
to help.
always,
When I say, how some people go, "Oh, thank you," and I genuinely mean this is not how I expected my Friday to go off.
Aw.
So you guys have made
that's
it
so
so
sweet.
much more easier for me, and it burnout in business owners is real. I mean, it's
Yeah,
real. So the more resources and the more things we can do to save time, so we can create more
Yeah.
value and this is genuinely when I'm like cheating and say you guys are amazing. The hours I spend just on cutting video and trying
yeah.
to get it to look the way it needs to look. And
Well,
there's
try
AI.
those out. Yeah, try them
I
out. And if you
will.
have issues, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
We'll
then
help.
also, if it's like, if you love it, then also send us a message and tell us it worked for you. Like, we would love to know, like,
Yeah.
that you loved it.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Of course.
Aw. Of course. All right. You ready for this outro?
Do it.
Here we go. Thanks for tuning in to Wolf Unleashed. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of marketing and Miss Ida.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more people find our show and join our community.
And if you have any questions or topics you want us to cover, just reach out to us on social media or through our website, wolfsocialmarketing.com.
Until next time, keep unleashing your marketing potential.
Bye.